Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Grand Cross video, and as usual every month, pretty much at the start of the month, we do our monthly tier list of pretty much what's happening in the meta. And disclaimer, this is actually a tier list based on the actual game, so you'll notice certain characters are higher just because it's not based on PvP alone. It's more of an overall tier list of like who you should be using, and yeah, if there's a game mode for a certain character, we are going to make some changes. So if you want to know the meaning behind pretty much all of these characters, because we're not going to really touch about apart from the ones that we actually change, go watch the previous ones. And at the bottom, which I'm not sure if you can see in the video because I do have an overlay for it, you can see the characters what have been added, and quite a busy month. We had a bunch of characters. Obviously 2 last week. We had a whole slime event, and I pretty much made a video about those already, so if you want to go watch that, I'll briefly talk about it now as well. And I missed that Hellbrim last time, so we're going to do him as well. So let's make some changes, because last month we did have Final Boss, was it King? Yeah, Final Boss King, right? So certain characters are higher than they should be. So Elizabeth, Elaine, I put to don't use now. She pretty much had her main usage, which was, you know, the Final Boss King, right? And she was kind of good then. Right now she's kind of useless. Yeah, just there's no real point of using her right now apart from, or anything really. She had well, her skills aren't really that good no more. Yeah, literally the only use that she ever got was from that Final Boss King. Elizabeth still has a usage. We are giving her for free. Like, I think we get 2 of her free in the new event. And yeah, she's alright. You could use her for PvP if you're dying. Kind of too soon, you need a healer. And also she does do good against the Grey Demon, so she's going to go into C tier. Alright, so I'm going to sort these out in actual order. Alright, so next we are going to be moving up. I think this Diane, we're going to move her down. I honestly don't know why she was in C in the first place, but we are going to be moving up this Diane to B, because I think a lot of people realized her as well during the actual, that Ifrit raid, she was kind of good. I know the Ifrit raid's gone now, but she was kind of an MVP. Plus, I think she's decent now, especially if you've got Arthur's running around. Plus, she is a good character to invest in, since she is basically an association for the main man King up top. And we are going to move, we are going to put Twiggo in the right spot, and that's B. And we're going to also move up. Okay, so Twiggo and Grimo, I think they both boost up HP and in geared. I think they're pretty decent. Jillian we're going to keep, even though she pretty much was mainly affected by the Final Boss King. But I think with the sort of like a green meta kind of running around, it's not bad to actually do that, or to use her. Okay, so Deldry, I'll put in S here, but literally probably one of the worst characters. Unfortunately, she obviously held back by a lot of things. The fact that she didn't get any buffs. She can work. Like, the reason why she was in B is because she just got released. So she was kind of like, people really didn't know how to play against her. I still think people don't really know how to play against her. And if you do get the right combo, especially now with Demon Melly in the game, it can work. But geared PvP, you can only use her in that. Other than that, you can't use her against boss fights. You can't use her in, well, you could use her in certain missions, but like, she's not that good. Unfortunate. Plus, she has no cosmetics. She only has like 1 that she gets for evolving. But other than that, she's held back by a lot of things. Death Pierce going to C. Once again, he was only high because of the Final Boss King event, so now he's kind of dropped off. Only really used it with Jericho, but like, you're not really using them in PvP. If you're not using them in gear, you're not using them anything else. He still has a usage, because obviously thing is still so high. But I mean, I'd say next month he's probably going to drop down quite a bit. I think he's fallen off quite a bit now, and it's kind of a shame. Because okay, next we're going to move up is Green Villager Gopher. I think that's his name, mainly just because it's a good association for Escanor. Right now you're going to use I think him and a couple of the actual Gophers, and you obviously use a red Gopher, right? You're not going to use the other Gopher, because you want to have 6 out of 6 on the ultimate. So right now we're going to move up this Gopher just because he's kind of worth upgrading, since he's a good association for Escanor. And then also we are going to be moving this Elizabeth. We're going to move her down. Once again, with Deldry, she was kind of new, so people didn't really know how to play against her. But she's not really worth using right now because, once again, I think people right now know, okay, let's not kill her first. And yeah, she's just not really doing much. I think just the whole gimmick of her dying at 1 HP or level 1 was kind of the whole point. Even though it'll kind of work well now, because if you got Demon Meliodas at the first turn, it would work, right? But it's just if you get her, I would upgrade her just for the fact that she has some good gear or like good cosmetics. But other than that, nah, not really. Okay, so next I think we are going to move Green King up to A. He's obviously he essentially just got a buff, right? But I don't think anyone's really counting as a buff. I mean, it was, but like it's not really a big deal. He's a good character. He pretty good for the actual raid bosses. Obviously the Grey Demon. And since obviously a lot of blues run around, it's not bad to pick up him, especially if you have 6/6 on him, which will be insane because you can pretty much nuke any blue team. And obviously, Diane, you have to use association, so this good thing to upgrade her. And I think he's a pretty good character. And I think for Balm, we're going to move down. I think right now, especially since we do have more AoE farmers in the game, his snatch abilities is kind of longs out the mission. And yeah, he's just with Escanor on your team. You can't debuff him, obviously. It's not very good. Obviously, you can use him in Gid, and he's, BT is still usable, right? That's the point. But I think it's just kind of fallen off a bit. And yeah, once again, if you are using them in story mode, I think you can't even debuff a lot of the bosses because they cleanse themselves. It's just not really worth, especially since you're only using like one person. So yeah, I think that's about it for the changes. I think pretty solid. I think if anything, Jericho might have gone down. Yeah, I think I'll move Jericho down because you can't really use her in PvP no more. Especially with Escanor, she's going to get killed first turn. Obviously, still very usable in any other quest apart from, I think, PvP. It's a no-go for Jericho right now. She's pretty much going to get killed so quick. And it's just, yeah, not worth using her. But, that being said, she still has a lot of uses. So, definitely still a must-use in guild bosses and in pretty much any quest you want to use. Just not PvP, pretty much. Alright, and I think that's about time we actually do get to the actual lineup of characters that did get added. And there's quite a few this month. I think probably the most we've gotten since the release, pretty much. Because we did have a slime crossover event. And we also got 2 banners pretty much last week, so... let's start with Helbram. Even though he wasn't added, he was added before. It's just I forgot to include him. So we're gonna put him in A. He's so useful. One, you can freeze and remove ult gauges, so that's pretty much a 2-in-1. It's King and Merlin in one essentially, and it also obviously does a lot of damage, especially very good against Escanor. The reason why he's not a must use is because you kind of have to have King and Gopher. Obviously the King. The Kingbrum, right? The whole thing. It's not a must-use because obviously you don't have to use him. It's a must-use in PvP probably if you want to go that route. But there are other comps you can use, so I think that's why we're not putting him into the A tier. Okay, next we have the slime event. It's a bit of a mixed one. So Remiru, the Tempest, so the slime version. When would you use him? I don't think you would, if I'm being real. They did just get buffed. Essentially, they can now remove. He now removes buffs on the tier 1, but his old gimmick is to heal. And if you're gonna do that, you might as well just use Elizabeth or any other Elizabeth. What else is there? I think he does. Does he prevent debuffs? I think maybe he might be a bit. No, I just don't use him unless we roll. It's just not a good character to use. Remiru, the actual SSR. Probably put him into C. I think the fact that we still have Arthur's run around with also buff for each other, I think you could use him pretty well because obviously he does double damage against buffed enemies. So I think that's kind of alright. But once again, we have Escanor, so you can probably just get nuked straight away. What else is there? I think Demon Melee aren't really buffing, so maybe he's just... I think for now we put him into the C tier because I think if the fact that Arthur's still in the game or still being used, I think it's not bad to use him. Benimaru apparently is, from what I've heard, is the worst one out of them. He does have an AoE. Yeah, okay, we're gonna put him in don't use. He's a red, so he's probably going to get killed very, very quick by Blue Melly. His whole thing is he lowers defense, right? But I think if you're going to do that, you might as well use Valenti, who obviously does a way better job than him. And he lowers attack and stuff. So yeah, and Lilia, Green Lilia does that too. So yeah, just don't use Benimaru. He's not that good. And then we have Milan. I once again put into don't use. I literally versed another her today, and she tried to save my ultimate, but she had a tier 1 skill, which does 60%, which is just horrible. And most of the time you're going to be using that ability, it's going to be using patience. She does have obviously like a high crit chance, but well, crit damage I think. But still, it's to what we have. And once again, she's blue, so Escanor is going to pretty much nuke her. Even blues will pretty much nuke her as well. Demon Melly will kill her so quick, there's no point even using her. Next, we have Lilia, so obviously one of the first original characters we have got into the game. Going to put into B tier. She does have a pretty good passive, which is reduce attack in PvP. And then I don't really know what else she does. I can't remember. I think she decreases damage taken. I think that's what she does. I can't remember. But yeah, I think she's overall... we're going to put her into C, because she only works in PvP. So obviously you're not going to get her passive in other quests, like just normal guild bosses, PvP, or it's only in PvP, right? And this tier list is based it's not based on PvP, it's based on other things like that. So yeah, probably sit well in C tier. Demon Melly. I put him in a must use, right? Will we put him with next to these guys? I think so. Obviously godly in PvP. One of probably the best farmer right now. You wouldn't use him in guild bosses, which is why I might take him out of it. Okay. I think the fact that he's so good in PvP, I think we're going to put him in a must use. But obviously it's not based on PvP, right? But I think the fact he's like the king of PvP right now, well, I mean, maybe Valenti is, but I think in the future, so when Blue Leader does come out, I think we're going to keep him in S tier. Obviously, there are other content you can use. I pretty much think the only thing you won't use him in is guild bosses, but you wouldn't use any of these in guild bosses either, apart from Gopher. And then also raid bosses, like death matches. I don't think you're using them either, but I think that's like what, just you wouldn't use them in 2 things, you use them in anything else. So I think Blue Melly definitely a must use. Just a strong nuker, like pretty much what Barn was, Koi Shot Barn, but now just better. Okay, so now we have the next 2, which is Merlin. So she just is a free character, which everyone can get for free with the tickets and the free step up. She's not good, right? She does, so I gotta make sure I get this right. So increase the hero's attack 2% per debuff on enemy. So essentially you have to use people who debuff, which if you look at the top characters, none of these top characters actually do debuff, apart from Meliodas with his corrosion. So that brings them down quite a bit, because you're going to be using these guys who don't debuff. Actually, no, Eshnor does debuff, but still. And then she does inflict damage. Yeah, so she basically, her whole gimmick is to decrease skill ranks, right? Which it works well, because obviously people are using Gophers. But it's, yeah, other than that, her skill 1 also disables anything but attacks, which sometimes you don't really want to do. So I think now we'll put her into C, because once again it's more or less PvP, right? You're not going to be using it in, you're not going to be de-ranking enemies cards in guild bosses, raid bosses, or death matches. I mean, you could do it in single player or like story mode PvE, but what's the point? It's not like you're struggling. And also to disable everything but attacks. Once again, it's not the craziest thing. So I think the fact she's only using one PvP like Lilia, I think she's well there. Last but not least, I think we're going to put Valenti into A. I think her passive is not based on so yeah, it's not based on PvP. So she decreases pierce rates by the value of her resistance. So obviously you kind of have to build her up. But overall, pretty solid unit. Defense, she also decreases defense related stats, which is pretty good, and also reduces attack related stats and is it onto all enemies? Yeah, so attack relay stats onto all enemies, and then defense relay stats onto one enemy. So pretty solid. Inflicts rupture, so if they have got buffed enemies, you are going to do a lot of damage. Plus, she's obviously do have a lot of good UI equipment, so you can actually level her up. You can get her up pretty high, and I think that about does it. I think oh wait, where are we gonna put? Yeah, we're gonna put an A, because obviously Demon being in S, the main Demon Meliodas is pretty much Valenti right now, and if you do have Valenti, you're pretty much gonna counter this guy so hard. It's actually unreal, and that about does it. That is pretty much our tier list for today. This month obviously did add quite a few characters, and we did lower them some down, but I think this is pretty solid. Let's obviously, what we like to do every time is to check out the community official one, which let's see how this turns out. Let's see how close it is this time. Okay, so they have quite similar. I think, yeah, Merlin and B. We put Merlin and B. Well, obviously, we have the Medi in S. I think that's, well, it's just, still pending, right? So maybe it could be an S. Liz Hawk, I think, in B. I think she's still going to get uses. I think in a month's time, next month, she might be in A, because we're going to have that new final boss, Gopher, I think it is. So I think that's when she's more usable. But there we go. The monthly tier list. Let me know if you think anything should be changed. I think it's about a solid. I guess it's just opinions, but overall, I think a lot of the actual SRs or like R's are probably higher than they should be, just because associations. Like maybe you put Gila up for Jericho, I guess. Probably put her in C. I actually no, let's put her in C. I would upgrade her just for the fact that guild bosses, right? If you're gonna go high in guild bosses, probably use her. Plus, I think she's actually pretty good for all Quest. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.